¿Sí? ¿Vale? So, good morning to all. Buenos días a todo el mundo. Hoy vamos a estar hablando tanto en inglés como en español, así que no duden en hacer uso de sus auriculares, si hiciera falta. So today we're going to be talking, as you know, in English and Spanish, so please use your headphones if necessary. En primer lugar, tengo el placer y el honor de saludar a don José Vélez, delegado del Gobierno de España en la región de Murcia, a doña Céline Etoin, responsable de proyectos y finanzas del programa Urbact en París, y por supuesto también a nuestro alcalde, don Juan Jesús Moreno. También quiero hacer mención especial de la presencia entre nosotros de don Georgos Sisamakis, el vicealcalde de la ciudad de Heraklion, en Grecia, y don Matteo Montanari, el director del gabinete del alcalde de Cesena, en Italia. Vamos a empezar. So, good morning again, and thank you all for joining us today and tomorrow for what definitely is going to be the keystone of the key milestone of the KAIRÓS journey. 2.5 years have gone by since we first met and embraced the KAIRÓS moment, with lots of expectations, but also with a fair amount of doubts. Yet together, we have overcome most of those doubts and even some turbulences, and together we have met most of the expectations. I think as the project's coordinator, I can talk on behalf of all the KAIRÓS partners present today when I state that we are all living this moment with genuine satisfaction and pride, but also with gratitude towards all the support we have been receiving along the line. Support at the local level, from our mayors and legal representatives, from our colleagues, our ULGs, our local associations, our volunteers, and of course the city's residents. At network level, from our partners, our external consultants, our collaborating ad hoc experts, the many guest speakers, and last but not least, from our lead expert, Miguel Rivas, to whom we owe special recognition for placing and keeping the KAIRÓS standard very high. Thank you, Miguel. And finally, at program level, we thank the Abac Secretariat from all our heart for their unrelenting support. And yes, the Abac Secretariat could not be better represented today than by the Projects and Finance Officer, Céline Etoin. So thank you, Céline, for honoring us with your presence, and we certainly look forward to your intervention later on. These days will be the perfect occasion to review and showcase the work done within the KAIRÓS project, but also to continue the learning and sharing process, thanks not only to the expertise of our guest speakers, but also through the views from the key real-life agents of heritage-driven generation, namely our mayors and our municipal corporations. So let us all together enjoy this moment and have 2 enlightening and entertaining days. Today, I will walk you through each step of the program as it evolves. So I would now like to give the word to Juan Jesús Moreno, the lead partner city's mayor, and certainly the greatest supporter of the KAIRÓS project. So, alcalde, cuando quiera.
Muchas gracias, Anke. En primer lugar, me gustaría saludar a las personas que hay en la mesa conmigo, a el señor delegado del Gobierno, al amigo Pepe Vélez y a Céline Etoin, que como responsable del proyecto Urban. También a los compañeros de la Corporación Municipal que están aquí presentes, a Miguel Rivas, una persona que ha sido, yo diría que el motor principal junto a los responsables técnicos del Ayuntamiento de Mula. Gracias, Miguel, por tu presencia. También a todas las personas que esta mañana de diferentes países de Europa que han estado dentro del proyecto Urban están aquí con nosotros, en la bella ciudad de Mula. A técnicos, a políticos que van a pasar estos 3 días aquí en una región, en la región de Murcia, una gran región, una región que ofrece muchísimo a todos los visitantes, a todos los turistas y sobre todo que es un rincón dentro de un paraíso como es España. Hace ya más de 2 años iniciamos el proyecto al que denominamos por aquel entonces como KAIRÓS, una antigua palabra griega, por su significado de momento en el que algo importante sucede. Preocupados por la evolución de los barrios históricos de Mula y abrazando la oportunidad que nos ofrecía el programa Urban para encontrar soluciones que no habíamos sabido concretar hasta ese momento. Conscientes del grave problema del abandono y del deterioro de nuestros barrios más humildes y a la vez los de mayor importancia histórica y patrimonial, Mula inició una aventura para la que se carecía de experiencia. Nos fuimos a Europa buscando ayuda sin experiencia previa en gestión de programas europeos y mucho menos como líderes de un proyecto. Es verdad, y aquí me tengo que detener, que aprovechamos en aquel momento también con el esfuerzo de una persona que hoy está aquí y que entonces estaba de concejal de turismo, Paqui Invernón, y fuimos a hablar con una persona que también hoy está aquí, entonces no tenía responsabilidad como delegado del Gobierno, sino como alcalde, pero había tenido contactos con otros proyectos urban y también con el Gobierno de España y en proyectos europeos. Y me refiero a Pepe Vélez, hoy delegado del Gobierno y por entonces alcalde de Calasparra. Él fue el que nos empujó, el que nos guió para sumarnos a este gran proyecto, que, como digo, nos fuimos a Europa buscando ayuda y sin experiencia previa en gestión de programas europeos. Y, como digo, mucho menos como líderes de un proyecto. Fuimos casi sin saber inglés, pero con la idea de que quizá fuera la única solución para abordar un problema tan complejo como al que nos enfrentábamos. Y así, con la ayuda de Raquel Galarza y María García de Eurovértice, presentamos nuestra solicitud en la convocatoria que tenía abierta el programa Urban. Un buen día, con una mezcla de sorpresa y cierto temor a lo que se nos venía encima, pero a la vez muy ilusionados y esperanzados, nos enteramos de que nuestro proyecto, el proyecto de la ciudad de Mula, había sido seleccionado. Y así empezamos a tomar conciencia del importante reto que es liderar una red urban. Lo primero que había que hacer era incorporar a una persona con alto nivel de inglés y con la capacidad y actitud necesaria para poder coordinar la red KAIRÓS. Buscando entre los posibles candidatos y candidatas, encontramos a Anke, una profesional con experiencia en dirección y gestión de proyectos, acreditada la calidad y el buen hacer en su trabajo, y con gran motivación, capacidad de aprendizaje y muchísimo compromiso con la ciudad de Mula y sus barrios históricos, y sin cuya implicación hubiera sido difícil desarrollar el trabajo tal y como se ha realizado hasta la fecha. Anke, tienes todo mi agradecimiento de corazón, mi reconocimiento por el buen trabajo bien hecho y también, lógicamente, el reconocimiento de la corporación municipal. Mientras se definía y se iniciaban todas las tareas de la red transnacional en el ámbito local, el equipo de técnicos municipales, con Cristina Moreno, Ana María López, coordinados por el agente de desarrollo Manolo Ibernó, al que quiero detenerme también para hoy, darle las gracias. Gracias por todo el esfuerzo, Manolo. Gracias por tu implicación en todo momento, en todo, mañana, tarde, madrugada, a cualquier hora del día, y por esa implicación que siempre han mostrado hacia el Ayuntamiento de Mula en cualquier corporación municipal, pero sobre todo esa implicación de querer a un municipio y querer al trabajo que uno está desarrollando. Muchas gracias, Manolo, en nombre de la corporación municipal y también en el mío propio. Convocamos una reunión abierta a todos los ciudadanos de Mula que quisieron asistir. Especialmente estaban interesados los actuales residentes de estos barrios, a los que contamos qué era KAIRÓS y qué objetivos pretendíamos conseguir, con una mezcla de escepticismo y de esperanza. Los vecinos nos fueron relatando sus intereses, sus problemas y las soluciones que ellos proponían. Se realizaron diferentes reuniones interdepartamentales de los técnicos del Ayuntamiento para buscar nuevos puntos de vista ante el problema de los barrios históricos, metodología novedosa que antes nunca se había realizado en el Ayuntamiento de Mula. Se creó un grupo local urban, contando para ello con vecinos conocedores de la problemática real, empresas, asociaciones profesionales, técnicos especialistas en las distintas materias sobre los que se debatía en cada reunión y responsables políticos, con la finalidad de encontrar las mejores y más innovadoras propuestas que respondieran a los problemas existentes. La primera fase fue una etapa no libre de dificultades. El primer contratiempo fue la necesaria sustitución del experto inicial para incorporar al que hoy es nuestro experto, a Miguel Rivas. Sin duda, no hubiéramos podido elegir a otro experto mejor para KAIRÓS, por su experiencia en desarrollo urbano y su nivel de compromiso con el proyecto. Gracias a él se ha definido el acertado método KAIRÓS basado en 5 pilares y ha dirigido la red y el trabajo de los socios con un altísimo nivel de exigencia. Muchísimas gracias, Miguel. Por si no era suficiente problema el de la sustitución del experto, también se produjo el abandono del proyecto de 2 de las ciudades socias de la red que hubo que reemplazar. Aquí es necesario que detenga mi exposición para dar las gracias a Adele Bucela y a Céline Etuen, del Secretariado Urban en París, y a Jon Aguirre, responsable del Punto Nacional Urban en España, sin cuya atención y ayuda, siempre amable y eficiente, que se ha extendido a lo largo de todo el proyecto, estos y otros problemas no se hubiesen resuelto adecuadamente. Con la segunda fase del proyecto y el nuevo hándicap de una pandemia mundial, hubo que modificar muchísimo las agendas para sustituir muchas de las reuniones y talleres transnacionales y locales previstos, que tuvieron que desarrollarse a través de medios telemáticos. Incorporar como consultores del proyecto a Notus, Centro de Investigación Social Aplicada, con Marc Caballero y Dorothy Fischer, al equipo de arquitectos del Departamento de Arquitectura y Tecnología de la Edificación de la Universidad Politécnica de Cartagena, a los cuales quiero agradecer también su total implicación, a José María López, a Edith Aroca y a Aarón Estrada, que nos facilitaron una base técnica sólida para la gestión administrativa del proyecto y para la elaboración del Plan de Acción Integrado. Muchísimas gracias. A lo largo de la segunda fase, en el ámbito local, se han realizado diferentes reuniones con los medios de comunicación, Open Days, encuestas de opinión, acciones a pequeña escala con niños y mujeres inmigrantes y reuniones, como digo, con el grupo local Urban, mientras iba confeccionando este plan de acción integrado. En el Punto Nacional Urban en España, que ha facilitado la difusión de nuestro trabajo, hemos participado en diferentes jornadas, en la planificación de urbana integral, la Puerta de Europa, que se celebraron los días 1 y 2 de diciembre del 2020, y en las jornadas urbanas de transferencias urbanas celebradas en Madrid el 7 y el 8 de septiembre del pasado año. En ambas hemos presentado el proyecto KAIRÓS y hemos conocido otros proyectos que nos han resultado muy provechosos para generar ideas de aplicación a la gestión de nuestro territorio. Además, hemos hecho contactos y nuevos amigos de otras ciudades urbanas españolas. También hemos sido invitados a participar en varias jornadas celebradas en ciudades de la región de Murcia, como Ceutí y Jumilla, para contar nuestra experiencia en Urba, lo que nos ha servido para ser conscientes del interés que estaba despertando y que ha despertado el proyecto KAIRÓS en otros municipios, y conocer que los problemas existentes en Mula son similares a los de otras poblaciones de la región de Murcia. El conocimiento de esta realidad ha llevado al Ayuntamiento de Mula a presentar una moción el pasado 7 de diciembre del 2021 para proponer la creación de una red de conjuntos históricos de la región de Murcia, que facilite la consecución de fondos y compartir proyectos y buenas prácticas entre las ciudades afectadas por estos procesos de deterioro en los centros históricos artísticos. Recientemente, un importante reconocimiento en el ámbito internacional para el proyecto KAIRÓS ha sido la participación de nuestro experto Miguel Rivas en la conferencia internacional Patrimonio para el futuro, Ciencia para el patrimonio, una aventura europea para la investigación y la innovación, celebradas los días 15 y 16 de marzo del 2022 en París y organizadas por la Fundación para las Ciencias del Patrimonio y la Comisión Europea. KAIRÓS es un proyecto que nace con la aprobación y el respaldo de todos los partidos políticos con representación en el Ayuntamiento de Mula, lo que garantiza el compromiso político con el desarrollo del Plan de Acción Integrado, con independencia de los cambios electorales que puedan suceder en el futuro. La experiencia adquirida en el transcurso del proyecto ha supuesto un aprendizaje para el Ayuntamiento y para este municipio, que tiene más trascendencia que la de disponer de un plan de acción que de por sí ya es muy importante. Por primera vez, Mula gestiona un proyecto europeo. Ha sido un reto muy importante para nosotros. Es una experiencia en la que hemos aprendido mucho y que nos va a facilitar seguir accediendo a los fondos de los diferentes programas existentes. De hecho, actualmente estamos estudiando y trabajando en la presentación de un proyecto relacionado con la cohesión y la integración social. Nuestra falta de experiencia en gestión de proyectos europeos ha sido suplida con el apoyo de las ciudades de la red con más experiencia y con la buena disposición a colaborar de todas ellas, haciendo que fuese sencillo el trabajo para una ciudad siendo líder de un proyecto. Abelene, Chesena, Heracleo, Malbor, Sibenic, Unmergé. Muchas gracias de corazón a todos. Gracias por el trabajo y gracias por la implicación de todas estas ciudades en este gran proyecto. Nos ha permitido ensayar otra vez de otra forma de gobernanza, más democrática y participativa, en la que se ha dado voz a los ciudadanos y se ha implicado a expertos, empresas y entidades. Hemos aprendido lo importante que es contar con otros, crear redes, implicar a la población, que un proyecto que nace desde arriba es difícil de llevar a cabo, que cuando más importante es el problema, más necesario es contar con todos para conseguir una solución aceptada. Hemos aprendido a buscar nuevos enfoques y puntos de vista ante los problemas locales del trabajo interdepartamental. Queremos promover una administración más transversal para los grandes retos de la gestión municipal, en la que se implique de forma conjunta y con planteamientos colaborativos equipos de técnicos de las distintas concejalías en lugar del trabajo específico de las competencias propias de cada departamento municipal. Hemos aprendido de nuestros socios de la red KAIRÓS y de otras ciudades españolas que han gestionado y que gestionan proyectos urbanos. Nos han aportado criterios de gestión e ideas a desarrollar y hemos iniciado relaciones con ciudades patrimoniales de la región que, como he dicho anteriormente, estamos trabajando para consensuar la creación de una red para la cooperación en políticas que utilicen el patrimonio como motor de desarrollo. Y, como no, KAIRÓS nos ha proporcionado una herramienta que es el Plan de Acción Integrado, fruto de la participación, del consenso, de la reflexión, del gran valor estratégico para hacer frente a uno de los graves problemas urbanos de nuestra querida y bella ciudad de Mula. Hace más de 2 años iniciamos el proyecto y hoy estoy en condiciones de afirmar que el Plan de Acción Integrado para la revitalización urbana, social y económica de los barrios históricos de Mula, que está próximo a terminar de definirse, es un buen plan, en el que confiamos plenamente para poner freno al actual estado de deterioro y que provocará un cambio tendente a la revitalización y mejora de la calidad de vida de los ciudadanos muleños. Desde aquí pido la implicación de todas las administraciones, en especial de la Administración regional como corresponsable en la gestión del urbanismo y en la conservación del patrimonio de esta región, con la que venimos manteniendo reuniones desde el año 2020 y a la que hemos solicitado en varias ocasiones la inclusión de inversiones contempladas en el Plan de Acción de KAIRÓS para ser financiadas con cargos a los fondos FEDER dentro del Plan Estratégico Regional para el año y el periodo del 2021 al 2027. Quiero dar las gracias a todas las concejalías, a todos los concejales, técnicos municipales que han colaborado en el desarrollo del proyecto, desarrollo local y empleo, servicios económicos, urbanismo, turismo, deportes, comercio, cultura, nuevas tecnologías, patrimonio, política social y mujer. Quiero dar las gracias a toda la corporación municipal por ese apoyo en todo momento a este gran proyecto, a las entidades regionales y locales, a las empresas, a los expertos que han colaborado desinteresadamente en el proyecto, como no, a la ciudadanía de Mula, a todas las personas que han colaborado ofreciendo su conocimiento y experiencia, a todos los residentes de los barrios históricos que con sus cuidados siguen manteniendo vivos los barrios de mayor valor patrimonial de nuestra ciudad. Y para concluir, siendo este proyecto una prueba más de lo importante que es la colaboración y el diálogo entre ciudades y entre países para incrementar la calidad de vida de los ciudadanos, no quiero dejar pasar la oportunidad de mandar nuestro apoyo solidario al pueblo ucraniano, deseando el fin del asedio al que se ve sometido y su pronta integración en la Unión Europea. Muchísimas gracias a todos, gracias, espero que disfrutéis de vuestra estancia en la querida y bella ciudad de Mula, en la región de Murcia y, sobre todo, gracias por este encuentro, este magnífico encuentro que a través de Urban nos ha dado la oportunidad de conocernos y de trabajar juntos y de hacer cohesión no solamente entre ciudades en España, que han sido muchas, sino también las ciudades europeas, que yo creo que ha sido un gran valor para todos nuestros municipios. Muchísimas gracias de corazón, gracias por estar aquí en la ciudad de Mula y espero, y como he dicho anteriormente, que vuestra estancia sea del mayor lujo posible. Estáis en la mejor ciudad del mundo y estáis en la mejor región del mundo. Muchas gracias.
Buenos días, dear Mr. Mayor, dear Mr. Government Representative for the region of Murcia. Good morning to you all. As representative of the Abac program, I'm very pleased to be with you today in Mula. Today marks the final KAIRÓS meeting, celebrating 2.5 years of work through the KAIRÓS network. So during this meeting, we will learn more about the different integrated action plans developed by each city partner, the KAIRÓS journey that is coming to an end, its achievements and outputs. We'll enjoy site visits in Mula, Lorca, and Murcia. And last but not least, it will be the occasion to launch the network of heritage cities of Murcia with a political momentum to mark it. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time for this introduction part and welcoming part, because as anticipated by Anke, I will make a more detailed presentation in a while. So just for now, I wish all of us a fruitful and a successful meeting. Thank you. Gracias.
Señor Vélez, ¿quiere tomar la palabra, por favor?
Está el hueco. Estimado vicealcalde de Heraclón, estimado representante de Chesena, querido alcalde, amigo Juan Jesús, miembros de la Corporación Municipal de Mula, resto de autoridades, amigos y amigas, muy buenos días. En momentos históricamente difíciles y complejos como los que estamos atravesando, uno se reconforta en su condición de ciudadano europeo. y en la creciente convicción sobre la necesidad de seguir contribuyendo a la consolidación de un espacio, de un proyecto de paz, de estabilidad, de prosperidad, de valores compartidos únicos en el mundo. Pero la realidad nos demuestra de forma particularmente dramática, especialmente durante los 2 últimos meses, que la lucha por la libertad representa una tarea y también un compromiso diario, pues su destrucción constituye el objetivo predilecto del fanatismo, la intolerancia y la sinrazón. Y en estos momentos, permitidme que me sume a las palabras de mi buen amigo, el alcalde de Mula, Juan Jesús, sobre el pueblo ucraniano. Y decía que la sinrazón que estamos viviendo la guerra que se está produciendo en Ucrania y cuya única posibilidad de supervivencia depende precisamente de la eliminación de esos valores democráticos que nos definen y distinguen como europeos. Eso es lo que pretenden algunos, eliminar esos valores, y no podemos consentir que eso se produzca. Por eso necesitamos la unidad, la unión de todos los países europeos, de todos los países del mundo democráticos, contra actitudes como las que está teniendo Putin en estos momentos. Por eso, hoy más que nunca, Europa, con su legitimidad histórica y fortaleza social, política y económica, debe liderar los desafíos globales a los que nos enfrentamos en un mundo cada vez más polarizado y condicionado por actores cuyas políticas ponen en riesgo ese espacio pacífico de convivencia al que aludía hace un momento. Pero Europa no se construye ni se defiende exclusivamente en las altas esferas diplomáticas, sino que requiere medidas que la vertebren por su base, la Europa de los pueblos y de las regiones, allí donde las políticas y actuaciones ejercen un impacto decisivo e inmediato en el bienestar y calidad de la vida de nuestros ciudadanos, como sucede con la conservación del patrimonio histórico y cultural. Y todo ello sin desvincular una cosa de la otra, porque la evolución del concepto de patrimonio cultural europeo y, por tanto, el diseño de medidas adecuadas que lo protejan está íntimamente relacionado con la propia evolución histórica, política y socioeconómica de Europa. No es de extrañar, por tanto, que los ciudadanos europeos encuestados por el Eurobarómetro consideren mayoritariamente que la cultura constituye un factor importantísimo a la hora de crear un sentimiento de comunidad y que la protección del patrimonio cultural no solo es importante para sus propios países, sino que representa una parte crucial de la identidad europea. Así, el 71% de los encuestados coinciden en que vivir cerca de espacios vinculados al patrimonio cultural europeo mejora de manera notable su calidad de vida. En ese contexto, el proyecto europeo KAIRÓS supone una excelente oportunidad para exponer problemáticas comunes y aportar soluciones conjuntas también que enriquezcan la vida de los ciudadanos. Fomenten también el empleo, el crecimiento económico y la cohesión social a través de la recuperación y conservación del patrimonio y el desarrollo urbano sostenible. Para mí, como representante del Gobierno de España en la región de Murcia, es un auténtico placer saludar y dar la bienvenida, como ha hecho el alcalde de la bella ciudad de Mula, Juan Jesús, a nuestros amigos de Belén, Cesena, Malbork, Heraklion, Šibenik y Ukmergė, este ya me cuesta un poquitín más, de Lituania, y poder comprobar que después de más de 2 años liderando el proyecto con diversos encuentros y provechoso trabajo, Mula, la ciudad de Mula, ejerce de orgullosa anfitriona en esta reunión final, donde se expondrán las conclusiones, lecciones aprendidas y medidas oportunas para materializar las ideas desarrolladas en sus respectivos planes urbanísticos. Ciudades todas ellas lejanas entre sí, pero con problemáticas y retos diversos y muy cercanas en todo lo demás, y asimismo hermanadas ya desde hoy y para siempre, con ese componente aglutinador que implica la protección y conservación de un patrimonio cultural e histórico que, sin ser de nadie, nos pertenece a todos. Quiero agradecer y felicitar a todas aquellas personas que han creído en este proyecto y que con su voluntad y trabajo lo han hecho posible, sentando las bases de futuras iniciativas que, estoy convencido, también han abierto los ojos y las puertas a otros municipios, que volverán la vista a KAIRÓS para desarrollar sus propios proyectos de conservación del patrimonio cultural e histórico y revitalización urbana. En lo que a mí respecta, como representante del Gobierno de España, en tanto que país destacado de la Unión Europea, seguiremos apoyando todos aquellos proyectos nacionales o transnacionales de esta naturaleza, porque el patrimonio histórico representa nuestra propia memoria colectiva y, como tal, es obligación de los poderes públicos protegerlo y apoyar convenientemente todas aquellas medidas encaminadas a su protección, a su conservación y también proyectarlo como testimonio de nuestra historia común europea. Muchísimas gracias.
Muchas gracias, señor Vélez. ¿Puedo ahora invitarles a tomar asiento para ver el vídeo de Mula? Celine, we're going to watch the video, so you take your seat, please. So indeed, to underscore Mayor Moreno's statement, we are now going to watch the video Mula has prepared for this event, and that inaugurates a series of videos produced by all partner cities that we will be showing fitfully interwoven into the programs throughout the day. So enjoy watching the video from Mula.
Taking Mula to new heights. Mula is a small town located in the region of Murcia in southeastern Spain that has a rich heritage dating back to the 12th century. However, the historical ensemble surrounding it is in need of a thorough regeneration.
El proyecto KAIRÓS para el Ayuntamiento de Mula ha sido un proyecto muy útil y muy necesario porque nos ha dado a conocer las dificultades y también las necesidades que tiene nuestros barrios altos y nuestro casco histórico. Ahora, con este plan director ya terminado, podemos acudir a las administraciones diferentes a pedir ayuda para la recuperación y puesta en valor de nuestros barrios altos y también del conjunto histórico-artístico del municipio de Mula.
Desde la participación de nuestro estudio en el proyecto KAIRÓS nos hemos dedicado a hacer una labor de traducción en realidades urbanas y espaciales de las demandas recogidas en procesos participativos en los barrios altos de Mula. Estas demandas delataban la necesidad de una intervención integral en la red de espacios públicos con los objetivos de dotarlos de identidad y hacerlos accesibles y seguros. A esto se añade la necesidad que hemos encontrado de crear plazas, es decir, espacio público habitable y no tanto de tránsito, así como la regeneración de un tejido productivo que dé lugar a la aparición de comercio de proximidad.
Through the European Abac program, Mula participates as a leading partner in the KAIRÓS project to promote a sustainable urban development, driven by an integrated action plan for the revitalization of historic neighborhoods through 5 fundamental cornerstones, using heritage as a driver for development and social cohesion.
El comercio es el motor de la economía y en el proyecto KAIRÓS puede contribuir avivando sus calles y creando empleo. El comercio local es identidad del municipio y por ello debemos recuperarlo en los barrios que por circunstancias ha ido desapareciendo. Somos conscientes que es un proceso difícil y que puede alargarse en el tiempo, Pero si llevamos a cabo todos estos cambios, serían unos barrios donde nuestros vecinos puedan crear su hogar e incluso su lugar de trabajo, en un entorno histórico y de gran valor patrimonial. Desde la Casa de los COI lo que hemos querido hacer es recuperar parte de este patrimonio tan importante y maravilloso que tiene nuestra ciudad de Mula y ponerlo en valor para que todos los visitantes puedan disfrutarlo. Todo el mundo que quiera y que tenga y que pueda hacer este esfuerzo junto con las administraciones, pues a poner en valor este tipo de patrimonio que nos sirve para que nuestra ciudad, nuestro pueblo puedan venir a visitarnos, puedan disfrutarlo, puedan hospedarse, que sepan, pues muchas veces si no sabemos nuestro origen no sabemos hacia dónde vamos, y creo que es una parte muy importante recuperar nuestra cultura y nuestras tradiciones y ponerla a disposición de todas las personas que quieran disfrutar de ello.
The plan is based on the collaboration and support of local agents in the different areas that make up the project, and has the firm will of Mula's mayor and his government to face the 21st century challenges through innovative solutions for a sustainable regeneration of these urban heritage areas.
En los talleres que hemos desarrollado en el proyecto KAIRÓS hemos fomentado la cohesión social, que es uno de los pilares del proyecto, así como la integración social y laboral de las personas, sobre todo las mujeres, que viven en los barrios altos de Mula. Para el proyecto KAIRÓS es importante que las mujeres que viven en el barrio alto, en las zonas altas de Mula, conozcan en profundidad y valoren la zona en la que viven, así como que conozcan otros recursos que pueden encontrar en el municipio.
These are objectives that have already been set in motion and which aim to link the improvement of urban space to the rehabilitation and adaptation of its structures and services, the revitalization of the social fabric, the integration of social groups, local economic growth, and the promotion of tourism. Mula welcomes all.
There. Ooh, did you hear me? Yes? Okay, sorry. Mr. Lanzoni, the floor is yours.
Well, good morning to everyone. First of all, thank you very much for your invitation here. I'm really happy to stay another way within the big Urbac family. It's an honor for me to stay here this morning. Well, I try to manage my presentation like this. Okay, sorry. Well, the idea today is to introduce you the idea about the... tenemos otro. Muchas gracias. Well, to introduce you the idea about the next urban regeneration, okay, concept. First of all, when we talk about the urban regeneration, from my point of view, it's about a project of urban renewal, of urban asset, urban commons, urban fabric with a strong connection with the local communities and with a strong co-design activity led by the local communities. Okay, it's not only a project about renewal of buildings, of redesign of urban space. In the concept of regeneration, there is the idea to work with the local community and different urban actors and different stakeholders. Okay, this is really important from my point of view. Okay, I want to start with these strange pictures.
my presentation. So you see in the foreground there is an unused container are piled up a storage depot near a residential area in the northwest of Hong Kong. Okay, and you see on the back there is another, unused containers, okay, or better, residential block, okay. But there is the same idea to contain for staking goods and container for staking people. So there is no difference between these two levels of the image, okay. And for taking people, not citizen. This is the first point. Only people and not citizen. Okay. In this, when we talk about the development, in this image, there is two elements really important from my point of view. When in our city we talk about development, is an argumentation. Development is the augmentation, of an existing dimension. It's not an evolution. So in this picture, we see in this case, the urban authority of Hong Kong was able to design a solution to contain more people, but not improving the quality of life. Okay, we need to change our idea and and start to talk about the evolution. Evolution concerns the improvement of people quality of life, and in the design of our contemporary cities, we have lost this meaning because we have lost the connection between the city of bones and meat and the cities of stone. This is really important to reconnect again these two levels if we want to talk about the urban regeneration. Okay? So in our city, we have a lot of problems in a linear city. I talked to you about my idea about the linear city. It's a city that take a lot of energy, a lot of material, and then produce a solution, apparently is good solution, like the residential block that you see in the picture. But this solution is not connected to the city users, inhabitants, citizens. And for this reason, when something happens, a crisis, you see for example, the COVID, climate change, modification of local economy, reduction of the urban wellness, something happened, the linear city change, okay, and try to make other solution, but move to another level, but in the same direction, okay, with the same idea of development and not evolution, okay, and then identify other solution and other use, and dispose the old part of the city, dispose the old asset, urban asset, okay? And then again and again and again. So it's possible in the linear city see different level of solution, but always in the same direction. Take a lot, don't have a connection between the real use of the citizen and people, and then when something happens or is wrong, dispose and dispose and dispose. Because we have cut the connection again between the city of stone and meat, the city of bone and meat and the city of stone. Okay. This is some example about disposed part of the city here in Murcia, for example. We have a lot of examples like this, settlement now disposed, because we don't have a real user of this part of the city. For example, here something happened about the economical problem, okay? Or another example here, but also in my city in Ferrara, for example, a former military barracks in the center of the city. It's an important part of the city. It's an heritage building, but now it is completely empty because there was a change in the system of defense in Italy, okay? Or another building as former market within the center of the city. So this is the idea about the linear city. Use and dispose. We have the idea to regenerate, okay? Because we don't have now the real tools to identify a possible use for the future of these urban assets. So, in the linear city, we have many places without a clear function, urban asset or urban commons. For me, it's really important to change also and talk about urban commons, okay? Not only to urban asset. Okay, and difficult to enhance. Abandoned or underused building, public or private, is not a problem. Cultural heritage building, not enhanced, or new type of cultural heritage. This is another interesting element. So not only talk about the outstanding building, a monument, but also start to identify the new type of heritage, really important for the local communities. A small building, a place, an urban landmark. This is another type of approach that we want, that is really important to things. So, or brownfield, fringe area within the historical center or the periphery, open space or neglected neighborhoods, okay? Or another important element, a problem in the linear city is the lack of coherent urban planning and urban regulation. So we have very old tools to manage the cities, okay? That is related only to the idea to identify a possible function, and it's not to the idea to identify the real needs of the local population, on the local communities, and is not connected to the idea to produce tools able to engage the people and the inhabitants in the design of the city for the future. And the lack of new skill, new type of, well, I don't know, architect, urban planner, but new type of skill able to talk and work with the local community and talk and work with the urban authority, okay, to connect again these two levels, really the inhabitants and the urban authority and the idea of the city's evolution. So, city will continue to be more and more place for opportunities, place for innovation, education, finance, culture, and place where the people exchange ideas. But to do this, we need to change our concept of the city and switch to the idea to the circular city. Not only circular economy, but try to move to another idea of urban evolution. So this is the example I want to talk to you about the Amsterdam. They have developed the circular strategy for the city based on the development of two actions. One, the first is about the construction chain, all the material for the construction of building space, and the other is about the circular organic residual in the city. I want to focus only about the construction chain to explain you this in very fast, this strategy. So the strategy is about to, well, use a smart design for the open space, for the public open space, for example, for, well, really production of element for the urban space, starting with the use of 3D printer and reuse the material to produce new urban furniture. Or, for example, when we demolish an old building, the deconstruction and separation of all the material to reuse in another building, new building. Or the high-value recycling of the existing building. Here we are in the field of urban regeneration of building. Or the creation of a marketplace, okay, where it's possible to buy the material, reuse it, and from the other building. This is another concept, completely different for the city, in the field of the construction. So it's possible to identify and think to different layers in the circular city. This is about the building, but it's possible about the waste, about the local production. So it's possible to think to the circular city in different way. When we focus on a specific aspect about the high value recycling in the strategy of Amsterdam, they have identified an activity about the reuse of the material. But from my point of view, it's necessary also integrate another value chain in this strategy. So the value chain about the urban regeneration, okay, made by new type of professional, okay, architect, I don't know, urban planner, the new type of approach, a circular approach about the regeneration of the building space, urban fabric, and new type of local urban regulation, able to involve the citizen and the inhabitant in the identification of the future for the building or for the city. So it's good, the strategy for Amsterdam, okay, about the reconstruction, the circular city, but from my point of view, it's better to add another value chain, able to reconnect again the people to the idea, to the development of the city. Now, I want to tell you a short story about two cases. This is a building that was disposed into the trash by the local authority, by my city, Ferrara, in the Emilia-Romagna region. It's an old theater, and apparently these two images tell us about the refurbishment of a building, okay? Apparently it's a normal architectural project of reuse of a building, refurbishment of a building. But in reality, it was a complex process of an adaptive reuse of the building, an urban regeneration. So this is what from 2013 on the left and 2018 on the right, okay? Apparently it's a good project of architecture. But in reality, it's a very long process of adaptive reuse and an approach, an incremental process made by different steps, okay? Made by different steps and made by different activity of involvement of different local stakeholders, citizen, professional, worker of the municipality, architect, urban planner, and also. So, some very short presentation. This is the old picture about the theater. The theater was closed in 1983, and in 1989 the municipality of Ferrara became the owner with the idea to turn this building, well, in a new theater opera for the city. So we want to create a fantastic building, new theater within the city. But due to a very Italian style, there was a problem, money problem, okay? And the building site has been closed until 2013. So this was the image about the idea to transform the building in a new theater, okay? But for start the activity, but in 2002, the building site was stopped for a lack of money and some, well, problems, okay, for the economic capacity of the contractor. So what's happened? The building stayed closed until 2013. Okay, was completely disappear for the memory of the cities and the citizen. So what's happened? In 2013, a cultural association, not the municipality of the city, asked to the municipality to reopen for only 3 days the place, okay, and to give to this building a second chance. Please, we want to reopen this building and we want to involve the city again in the, to start to think another way up to the possibility about the reuse of the building. So the building was in a very, in a very poor state of conservation, because you can imagine was not a building site finished. So a lot of water, rainwater, there was an infiltration of rainwater, a lot of pigeon. You can imagine when we was for the first time inside was a sort of hell, okay? And then we proposed to the, because when I was young, I was a part of this cultural association, okay, we proposed to the local authority to open for only 3 days and to use only one small part of the buildings and then reorganize this small part of the building to give another opportunity to the building and to invite the city to enter inside and start to think a new future for the building. So to be sure to make the buildings reusable, the internal walls had to be carried out and to make the space accessible. And to do this, we have used three budget line. The first budget line was from the municipality of Ferrara. Okay, they spend every year 19,000 euro for a normal maintenance of the building. So, and we ask to the municipality, please use this money to refurbish and to build a ramp, to build a new fence inside, and to fix the roof, please, and not use for other kind of activity. The second budget line was the development of a crowdfunding project to collect money from the citizen. Not only to collect the money, this is really important, but also to engage the people again in the care of the building. Okay, the first activity of the crowdfunding is about to engage the people in the idea of the use of the building. And the last budget line was about the donation. Okay, donation from the shop owner of the city. We designed a campaign and we designed with the idea to engage the shop owner and to put a stick. You see this picture of the lady, to put a stick in front of the shop of the door, and I support the reopen of the Theater Verdi. So at the end, 3 line of budget to make and reopen of the city, of the theater. This is some image about the reopen for 3 days. And starting from this point, we receive a lot of requests for other cultural associations in the city and organize a lot of activity inside to the theater. A workshop about the possible reuse, a small concert, a seminario, and different activity to be able to design a new future of the theater. So, starting from this, the municipality of Ferrara think again about the possible reuse of the buildings and then include the building inside to a local strategy of the city. And in 2016, the municipality of Ferrara was able to candidate the Theater Verdi to RDF funds, regional funds, and received 3 million euro for the regeneration of the buildings. In the field of sustainable mobility and in the field of cultural tourism. So a place, okay, development of an open lab, and laboratorio, open lab, to design policies in the field of sustainable mobility and cultural tourism. Okay, starting from this, okay, starting from the financing of the Regione Emilia-Romagna, start a lot of activity of co-design and architectural project. So different type, internal and external. Internal to the municipality of Ferrara, able to include all the department in the design of a new idea of the former theater, and external with the citizen and different stakeholders to think about a possible reuse and the activity to support the theater. You see in this picture, we was engaged in the organization of Hackathon Day, okay, to make a simulation about the future use of the building. And then activity within the municipality, okay, this is two guys of the municipality of Ferrara that work about the possible identification of possible function within the buildings, and then external activity, different workshop with stakeholder and citizen. And starting with this all information, we start to design a project. Okay, this is the first idea about the project, and then discuss with the citizen inside to the theater, inside to the former theater. This was really important. Stay in the place and show to the citizen and to the inhabitants of Ferrara the future of the buildings. Okay, this was the final, concept of the Open Lab with the activity, space for startup, UNESCO interpretation certain, open space for development, community project, bar and restaurant, covered square for the sitting, and museum of the bicycle, because Ferrara is a city of bicycle in the Emilia-Romagna region. So, at the end, the municipality of Ferrara make an open call, okay, a tender procedure, and identify the managing body. This is a part of this 4 entity. Company is the managing body now of the Open Lab. Some picture about the use now. The building is used about conference, workshop, but also activity connected to another Urbact project. And this is the history of the former theater of Ferrara. So it's a project start from one building, able to reconnect the city and reconnect the inhabitants to a new opportunity. From my point of view, this is a hard project. Start from one urban asset, able to create new social cohesion within the city. Another example, okay, is a completely different project. It's a soft project. Start from the human regeneration. In the Theater Verdi was a urban regeneration. Here we talk about the human regeneration, and then end in the reuse of building and design of a new square within this district in Rotterdam. This is the history about the African Dervishi. It's a district in Rotterdam. The idea of this project is to increase the social cohesion, developing jobs opportunity with high social impact, and enhancing the local commercial network, and regenerate the public building and open space. So here is the place of the African Dervishi within the neighborhood, within the Feyenoord neighborhood, okay, in Rotterdam. African Dervishi, the neighborhood come into the existence, I think, around 1995, 94, when docks were built, okay, in the Rotterdam area, and the district is one of the residential area that quickly developed up the house dock worker. In 1970, the great number of immigrants comes into the district, and this changed completely the social fabric within the district. So this is a composition of the inhabitants of the Rotterdam African Dervishi district, and when starting from this point, there was a lot of social problem, to the district, and this was the element, okay, that create a strong crisis into the district. So the presence of immigrants and the presence of a really high social problem. So in 2008, Free House Foundation started a project with the aim to developing a community cooperative. Okay, start with the idea to develop a community cooperative formed by the inhabitants and in the street, on the district, and the shop owner. Okay, able to reactivate and regenerate the place, starting from the local values, not starting from the reuse of buildings, but starting from regenerate the social fabric of the district. So the first challenge was about the reactivation of the local commerce, and the idea was to start from the weekly market on the Saturday and on the local commerce. So this is this picture is about the redesign of the local market, okay, that was made on Saturday, and then to think again. I'm finished. Yeah, I finish really fast. To think again to redevelop a new concept of commerce in the district. Another important aspect was about the mapping of all the shops inside to the district and identify all the connection between the shop existing to the district. I go very fast. So the cooperatives also work to improve the local shop. These are two examples about, one the shop of jam and one tailor's shop led by a group of women. Well, another step was about the reuse of the building as a house of the neighborhood, house of the district. And then inside to design and develop a restaurant and place for the community. And I finish, and at the last was about the regeneration and redesign of the main square of the district. So, at the end, into this project, we have a lot of new skills that are involved, not only architect, not only urban planner, but skills about the ability to map different types of value, ability to develop a co-design mechanism to engage the people, ability to plan and manage cultural events, ability to harmonize the idea and program and project. So different of type of skill. I finish. So for this, from my point of view, if we want to think at next urban regeneration, we need to have the new skill. I'm talking about urban activator, not an architect, not an urban planner, but urban activator. Think in a different way, in a circular process, in a circular way, and at the end, have a new urban tools, urban regulation able to involve the citizen in the direct management of urban asset, urban commons. I finished. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. There's a lot of information, and thank you for your attention. Sorry. No problem.
Okay, thank you, Luca. Thank you so much for this insightful keynote address that will lead us directly to the first section of our program, the KAIRÓS journey with the Abac Compass, where we will first hear about the main findings from the KAIRÓS project in the words of the person who knows best, our lead expert, Miguel Rivas. But before we pass the word to Miguel, I invite you to sit back for a moment to watch the Šibenik movie. Jose Maria, Šibenik.
Kada govorimo o oživljavanju javnih prostora, gradova, povijesnih dijelova grada, uvijek se postavlja pitanje kako postići da prostori budu atraktivna mjesta okupljanja i onih najmlađih i onih najstarijih. Odgovor je u slušanju, u razgovorima, u osluškivanju što to građani žele.
Desetljećima sam adresom i emocijama vezan za stari dio Šibenika, posebice za Goricu. Tamo sam igrao nogomet na malim gradskim trgovima, pjevao klapi na šibenskim skalinama. Zato iskreno pozdravljam projekt KAIRÓS koji okuplja djecu na zabavu i druženje u starom dijelu Šibenika.
Ali ti si najobičnija gruda svega.
Prilikom izrade integriranog akcijskog plana proveli smo online anketu gdje smo pitali građane što je ono što njima treba, što je ono što oni smatraju da trebaju promijeniti u staroj gradskoj jezgri kako bi se postigla bolja kvaliteta života.
Problemi koji muče stanovnike stare gradske jezgre je zapravo da dođu do namirnica koje su im potrebne. Tako da primjerice ne bi morali ići na nekakve udaljenije tržnice, već bi imali nekakvu tržnicu koja je u samoj gradskoj jezgri.
Jedna predstava u gradu može oživjeti staru gradsku jezgru za cijeli dan. Jedna kulturna ruta može poticati građane da upoznavaju svoju kulturnu baštinu i povijest grada Šibenika.
Što se tiče samih ciljeva razvoja gradske jezgre, tu smo se bazirali zapravo na revitalizaciju stambene funkcije grada, na revitalizaciju radne funkcije, na obnovu komunalne infrastrukture, na poboljšanje mobilnosti, ali i zapravo na samu zaštitu i prezentaciju stare gradske jezgre.
Grad Šibenik je poznat po svojoj kreativnosti i inovativnosti, ali ono po čemu se izdvaja je upravo fokus na ljude, jer ljudi čine grad i ljudi čine staru gradsku jezgru Šibenika. Tako smo i mi kroz projekt KAIRÓS osluškivali građane, razgovarali s njima, pili kave. Saznali smo da u staru gradsku jezgru Šibenika žele vratiti mediteranski život na ulice, da žele male aktivnosti, ne samo infrastrukturna velika unapređenja. Žele ispričati priče koje će neko prikupiti, osmisliti i prikazati.
Stoga smatramo da su grad uspomene, doživljaj i ljudi.
Jer ljudi čine grad i ljudi čine staru gradsku jezgru Šibenika.
Grad su ljudi i ono čemu se nadamo da će projekt KAIRÓS pridonijeti, to je njihova što bolja kvaliteta života u gradu Šibenika.
Okay, so I think it corresponds to me to make a brief summary of these 2 years, of these 2 years and a half. So let's go. So just a very brief comment about what has made our journey unique from my point of view. The first one is the time invested for all of us in a very good preparation of these 2 years. Not only the baseline study who mark the rationale and the methodology for the peer learning, but also the excellent work that you made at local level with a new urban concept, which is the integrated action planning roadmap. So the time that you invested in the roadmap 2 years ago, in my view, was crucial in order to make a smooth international peer learning over the past month. Well, the transnational learning itinerary also were work, in my view, despite the pandemic. So we rapidly reacted and moved to online or first a kind of 2 thematic roadmaps. Remember the roadmaps trying to ignite the debate through the thematic workshop that has been the cornerstone of our international
exchange of knowledge and experience. And of course, the peer review workshop that we celebrated in Cesena, coupled with a key study visit to Bologna. In my view, Bologna is one of the most, if not the best, unproduced city in Europe, trying to give a broader social access to cultural heritage. They are disrupting in some way the way a city should face cultural heritage from a city perspective. So in my view, we were lucky to have Bologna very close to Cesena to organize the kiosk. The urban fabrics on some urban fragments of heritage value. They can be a city center, or they can be just an historical quarter, or another part of the city with some heritage value of some connected, or with some connection with the city memory. You know, city memory can be something intangible, or with a not very clear physical presence. The second change, in my view, is even much more important than the change of scale. It's about the concept of heritage valorization. And it's very important to have all of us to make a common assumption about what means heritage valorization. And heritage valorization is a matter to address cultural heritage further to just a stock of the past. So heritage should be addressed as a history of transition. So the transition as such is valuable. So we shouldn't reject the notion of dynamism or transition when talking about cultural heritage. Of course, it's very good to preserve. Conservation is a fundamental pillar, but it's not enough. So we should reconnect that past. We have to reconnect cultural heritage to the future, to make them functional for the contemporary city. So that's the purpose of the transitional approach or the dynamic approach when talking about cultural heritage. So the heritage should be valuable to build the future. And this idea fully fits the idea of circularity that Luca has commented to us. And this is the main thing why cultural heritage have a brilliant future, in my view, within the framework of sustainable urban development. That's very important to understand. Of course, both major changes has led to a change of method, okay? Because the integrated approach is now needed more than ever to embrace not only the multifaceted nature of heritage valorization, but also is needed to manage heritage within the complexity of today's urban space. That is why it's so important, for example, the notion that Luca Lanzoni has presented to us, the notion of next urban regeneration. We have to reinvent somehow the idea of urban regeneration because the management of urban space is more complex today. But so what integrated approach to drive relevant local action planning in order to expand the role of cultural heritage as a driver for sustainable urban development? Well, I think we innovated somehow here in KAIRÓS, offering to us and offering to other cities to other interested people. This very simple model that we have called the KAIRÓS 5-pillar model is basically, of course, putting the more physical elements, space, probably at the core, at the heart, at the center of the heritage-driven urban regeneration, but also the space dimension is not enough by itself. So an integrated approach is needed. And we summarize the other, we cluster the other interested elements into three main other pillars, all related to economy, all related to attractiveness. So attractiveness encompasses much more than just tourism element. That's very important. For example, for touristic cities here, like Heraklion or like Šibenik, attractiveness should be much more than attracting tourists. Attractiveness should be a more comprehensive concept in order to position your city in a more competitive way, in a more clear way, not only targeting visitors, but also targeting investment, but also targeting your own local population. And social cohesion. Plus, of course, a new way of governance, this integrated approach. So the main question for us is to what extent a broader, a future-oriented conception of cultural heritage can contribute to each of those pillars. Concerning the content of each of these pillars, I have not consumed much time because it is on the paper. You are quite familiar, most of the people here in the room, you are quite familiar about what can be the topics to be considered when reviewing your target area under those cluster space, economy, attractiveness. For example, housing, in my view, is very important when talking about the more physical dimension of your target area. So all related to economy and attractiveness, or related to branding. Retailing is a basic source for city life, for urban vibrancy in all of our historic quarters. That's a fact. And social cohesion, of course, makes a difference in all strategy trying to revitalize the heritage quarters. Okay, the rollout, again, you are quite familiar for us, but this is the kind of presentation I used to display when talking about, when I am invited to talk about KAIRÓS, no? It's very interesting because the KAIRÓS 5-pillar model in a way has proved to be valuable, has proved to be helpful in order to help cities to face very different local challenges and very different local circumstances. For example, one of them is Šibenik. It's a pier, a gem in the Adriatic seashore, and they are addressing the revitalization of the old town, which is affected by, the population, tourist-driven gentrification, and during the low season, lack of urban vitality. And to me has been, I have learned a lot from all of you. And to me has been a very illuminating to see the decision, the conscious decision of the city of Šibenik to produce an integrated action plan, not very apparently, not very ambitious, setting aside all the big investment in physical regeneration and focus on a number of social-oriented, short-term, realistic, and achievable set of actions, a set of agenda. The challenge of Cesena was completely different, and it shows that cultural heritage valorization shouldn't be a matter of historical centers only. So they challenged. The challenge is about reusing much more than the industrial legacy. I would say the industrial memory, not because the remaining of the industrial heritage, the remaining of the former Harigoni factory is not very visible in the area, but the memory of the big factory is still alive in the minds of the many local people. So how to reuse that memory as a special foundation to give some character, some uniqueness for the redevelopment of the area surrounding the train station. You know, most of the area surrounding train station are flat areas. Areas, you know, is a kind of it's like a known place for many people, no? So why not to change that using the industrial memory to give more character to the area? So the integrated action plan for them, in my view, has been very, very useful in order to impulse a specific and ad hoc participatory process, including some placemaking exercise to start the redevelopment of the area around the station, including keywords for them like accessibility, safety, attractiveness, and new facilities that can be located in that area. So Heraklion was challenging a prototypical problem of urban dereliction, including again, depopulation, which is a common factor, unfortunately, to most of the heritage urban areas, and some social conflicts as well. So the idea is that their main aim, in my view, is trying to rebuild the neighborhood life, while at the same time, of course, regenerating the unique built environment of a very characteristic old quarter in the city. Again, a completely different challenge, which is Marlborough. So Marlborough, in Marlborough, the destination experience of the city, in their view, is reduced to visiting for 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, the famous Teutonic Castle, which is a list as part of the World Heritage. But this short visit has a very little impact on the local economy and underestimate other cultural assets on the city. So it was very clear from the very beginning that they needed a new, broader understanding about what cultural heritage is or can be, different to the monumental artifact. So your main challenge in the YAP is trying to rethink that concept, to try to embed this new concept of cultural heritage into a strategic agenda for the city. In Umerge, the main challenge is quite similar. It's trying to, it's very simple. Just try to produce a comprehensive strategy, specifically for the Umerge Old Town District, because the Old Town District in Umerge, it doesn't attract many interest for the local people. Local people prefer to live in other parts of the city for one reason or another, which we have no time to explain why, by the city center amazingly do not play a key role in the imagination of the local people. So it's very important to invest time and energy trying to reposition the old town in the mind of the residents in the city. And for them has been a precious opportunity to start building a participatory approach in the city. In my view, you have made a great job. So Mula is very similar to Heraklion. The main challenge is to stop and revert the vicious cycle. Is like a urban degradation. Many times like a snowball. So when you try to react, the problem is so huge that it's very difficult to stop. No? But fortunately, they have started to react, and the only way they have understand is possible to stop that snowball of urban degradation is using an integrated approach. It's not enough just investing money in urban regeneration. An integrated approach is needed, and that is why the impact of the KAIRÓS project in the city. Belene is a very small town in the border between Romania and Bulgaria, and that border is the Danube River. Surprisingly, for a so small city, they have a very good range of both cultural and natural assets connected to heritage that for them is very important to activate and reconnect between them in a unifying agenda around and broader understanding about cultural heritage with a focus as an opportunity area on the Danube River front as an area to redevelop with strong investment but with a clear strategy. Well, my final part of the it's not so difficult to me because, to be honest, I had around 20 main findings about after 2 years and a half working together with you. But just to summarize, I have selected 10. Okay? Well, the first one is the integrated approach entails an organizational challenges. In a minor way, in a major way, in a way or in another way, but most of you, my suggestion is should rethink a bit and make some adjustment in the way your local organization, the municipality, is organized. Trying to make cooperation between the different city departments a usual thing, not just an sporadic thing because of one specific project, but trying to make some adjustment at the municipal level. Well, heritage area management or heritage site management is a continuous multi-stakeholder process. There is no other way. I was very surprised when hearing your colleagues from the old town of Regensburg in Bavaria, in Germany, when they introduce the city, they start saying, we are 16 residents in the area and 186 stakeholders who work with us. So as much important than the number of residents is the network of stakeholders that they are working with them on a daily basis, okay? And for me it's also very intriguing to hear that when talking about High Regensburg, show me your site management plan, show me your integrated action plan. And for them they say, we have not much paper to show you, Miguel. For us, Regions plan is basically a working group. So the working group is the basis, is the most fundamental thing for them to make relevant action planning on a daily basis. Well, the three findings is about the importance. And unfortunately, in my view, I suspect that this is something you had not assumed so well, in my view. The very importance for these small cities, because small cities lack of financial capacity to make by themselves urban regeneration. You need the complicity, the support of the regional level, of the national level mostly. So it's very important multi-level governance, just as a key to relevant funding orchestration. And the integrated action plan that you have just made this month can be a tool to start knocking at the door of the different potential funders in order to attract the necessary funds that you will need in a way or another. So that's a basic fact. Okay, the other funding is, and I have repeated this again and again, and this is why, in my view, the integrated action plan of Mula is very relevant, but from the very beginning they have understand that you have to put physical urban regeneration at the core if you want, if you really want to shake a problem of dereliction, a problem of degradation. So the urban project, the architecture project is at the core, and it conditions everything positively or negatively. Again, you can build up the integrated approach. Another very important message that not all understand so well, in particular people working on cultural policy and people working on the heritage field, is that the heritage city has the right to make the city if needed. So in a way, so both preservation and valorization of built heritage on one side and production of new urban space remind that heritage valorization is not only preservation, it's not only conservation. The heritage city may feel the need to produce new urban form or even to slightly change the inherent urban fabric because to respond to the new demands in terms of accessibility, in terms of public space, in terms of parking, for example. Remind the motto of the film in Šibenik. The people should be at the core, should be at the center, the residents. We have to avoid the museification of the heritage city. The city has the right to make some changes in order to keep functional the inherent fabric. And the other main lesson is the social driving approach to heritage valorization makes a difference. Promoting a broader social access to cultural heritage will dramatically expand the number of heritage valorization projects. And it's crucial in order for you to build up a city perspective to cultural heritage. That's very important. Each of you should have a particular idea from a city perspective about what cultural heritage means for the city. Setting aside for a while that cultural heritage is just a matter of old churches, monumental artifacts, and so on. They matter, of course, but it's not the only way to approach cultural heritage from a city perspective. Well, taking the time to experiment, and we have received a big lesson from Ferrara minutes ago, all the process related to the former Verdi Theatre in Ferrara is a big lesson about how important is taking the time to experiment. Cities shouldn't be in a hurry when trying to valorize and give new use to heritage artifacts. So it's very important to invest on tactical urbanism, proofs of concept, pop-up intervention, urban living labs, or even small events trying to boost civic engagement, which is most of the small-scale action that you have made in KAIRÓS can be categorized on this last category, like small events in order to boost civic engagement, and they have a value. Another big lesson, in particular from Šibenik and in particular from Cesena, is that more authentic heritage valorization needs to be cultivated from education and awareness. So promoting the intergenerational dialogue is very useful to foster livability in the historic center, which is open an aging city due to the population, and a useful channel to transfer identity values and sense of place to young people. So it's very good to explore by yourself new ways of learning about urban heritage, targeting particularly the young people. This is very simple. KAIRÓS, this is about keeping the historic city livable. And I have quote again the site manager of the Regensburg city. For them, livability means spaces where people like not only to stroll, not only for going shopping or spending time for vacation, but also places where young families can find an apartment and make a living. That is why it's so important, all related to provide accessibility, public services and facilities, public spaces, security. I remind one of the stakeholders in the video of Šibenik, telling that what people are most interested is getting grocery and bakery close to them, and not having to go to a long distance to make the daily shopping. That is basic assumption about the way to approach cultural heritage valorization. That is why housing, in particular affordable housing, should play a primary role in heritage-driven urban regeneration. And in my view, we need for, let's say, even a more disruptive, more bolder schemes to retain the residential use in our historic quarters. So conventional housing policies normally do not apply so well in heritage-driven urban regeneration. So this is a call for policymakers in our cities to be more imaginative in the way they can support housing in the historic quarters. So that's all. So there's so many things to think about, and in my view, KAIRÓS has just paved a way for us and for other cities in order to maximize the use of cultural heritage for sustainable urban development. So thank you very much.
thorough analysis and for all the good advice, and it's quite a track record to look back upon. We've been working very hard to get here. So we're going to... El video de Heraklion, por favor, José. Vale. So we're now going to watch the video from the city of Heraklion in Greece. And then we give the word to Céline Antoine.
Το πρόγραμμα Urban και το δίκτυο KAIRÓS αποτελεί μια χρυσή ευκαιρία για το Δήμο Ηρακλείου και την Αγία Τριάδα να δημιουργήσουμε ένα σχέδιο, μια παρέμβαση, ένα ολιστικό σχέδιο που θα αναμορφώνει την περιοχή. Θα προσπαθήσουμε να δημιουργήσουμε συνθήκες αναζωογόνησης μέσα από ένα ολοκληρωμένο σχεδιασμό, ο οποίος προκύπτει ουσιαστικά με τη συμμετοχή των πολιτών και όχι μόνο από τους γραφειοκράτες και μέσα από κλειστά γραφεία.
Το ευρωπαϊκό πρόγραμμα Abac KAIRÓS είναι ένα πολύ σημαντικό πρόγραμμα το οποίο χρησιμοποιεί την πολιτιστική κληρονομιά ως οδηγό για την αστική αναζωογόνηση υποβαθμισμένων περιοχών. Ο Δήμος Ηρακλείου σε αυτό το πλαίσιο έχει επιλέξει ως περιοχή παρέμβασης την περιοχή της Αγίας Τριάδας.
Η Αγία Τριάδα είναι μια γειτονιά στο κέντρο της πόλης με αξιόλογο χαρακτήρα, αξιόλογο κτηριακό απόθεμα. Έχει 50 διατηρητικά κτίρια εδώ, έχει κρίνες, κτήχη, έχει παλιές εκκλησιές.
Υπήρχαν γειτονιές με μυρωδιές, κατοικείτο από μικρασιάτικες οικογένειες με όλο τον πολιτισμό που είχαν φέρει σε όλους τους τομείς και στη διασκέδαση και στη διατροφή και στον τρόπο σκέψης. Ήταν πραγματικά ένα περιβόλι η Αγία Τριάδα.
Η αίσθηση της γειτονιάς είναι διάχυτη στην Αγία Τριάδα λόγω της οικιστικής της φυσιογνωμίας. Είναι σαν να έχει παγώσει ο χρόνος. Το Urbact επιχειρεί να αφουγκραστεί τις ανάγκες των κατοίκων της περιοχής της Αγίας Τριάδας και αξιοποιώντας το πολιτισμικό απόθεμα να αναζωογονήσει την περιοχή και να ευαισθητοποιήσει τους κατοίκους ευρύτερα της πόλης του Ηρακλείου αλλά και τους επισκέπτες για την ιστορική της ταυτότητα αλλά χωρίς όμως να υποστεί αλλίωση η οικιστική της φυσιογνωμία. Το πρόγραμμα έχει μια προσέγγιση από τα κάτω προς τα πάνω, μια bottom-up δηλαδή προσέγγιση που σημαίνει ότι ζητεί τη συμμετοχή των πολιτών. Νομίζω ότι η ατμόσφαιρα που εκπέμπει, η ατμόσφαιρα του χωριού θα παραμείνει αναλύωτη αν δοθούν και κίνητρα στους νέους κατοίκους για να συνδεθούν με τους ήδη υπάρχοντες.
Χρόνια τώρα η γειτονιά φωνάζει βοήθεια με υποβαθμισμένες υποδομές, με προβλήματα στην ίδρυυση και στην αποχέτευση, με υποβαθμισμένο δημόσιο χώρο, με κτίρια που καταραίουν.
Μέσω της συνεργασίας και διάδραση μεταξύ των εταίρων πραγματοποιήθηκε ανταλλαγή απόψεων και καλών πρακτικών, πολύ χρήσιμο για κάθε σχεδιασμό του κάθε εταίρου. Στόχος του Ευρωπαϊκού Προγράμματος Abac KAIRÓS είναι το αστικό ολοκληρωμένο σχέδιο δράσης που υλοποιείται στο πλαίσιο του προγράμματος να ενταχθεί σε ένα χρηματοδοτικό εργαλείο που θα μπορεί να χρηματοδοτήσει όλες τις δράσεις, όλα τα έργα που αναφέρονται στο αστικό ολοκληρωμένο σχέδιο.
Θεωρώ ότι το πρόγραμμα KAIRÓS θα είναι πολύ υποστηρικτικό σε όλους αυτούς τους ανθρώπους που θα θέλουν να κατέβουν στην Αγία Τριάδα και να αρχίσουν πάλι μια νέα ζωή με νέους στόχους και καινούρια όνειρα.
Μέσα από το πρόγραμμα χτίστηκαν στενές σχέσεις με αξιόλογους εταίρους, συνεργάτες, σχέσεις που μπορούν να εμπλουτιστούν, να συνεχιστούν προς όφελος όλων των πόλεων.
Με το πρόγραμμα Urban και το δίκτυο KAIRÓS μας δόθηκε μια σπουδαία ευκαιρία να συναντηθούμε, να ανταλλάξουμε απόψεις με άλλους δήμους που είχαν κοινά προβλήματα, κοινούς προβληματισμούς, να δούμε καλές πρακτικές, να ανταλλάξουμε καλές πρακτικές και τελικά να σχεδιάσουμε από κοινού τις λύσεις και τις παρεμβάσεις των ιστορικών αυτών περιοχών του κάθε δήμου που συμμετέχει στο πρόγραμμα.
Very nice. Okay, I would now like to formally introduce Céline Hitoin, who, as said earlier, represents the Abac Secretariat here today. So in the first place, Céline, thanks again so much for sharing this key KAIRÓS event with us. Mrs. Hitoin graduated in political science in the famous Sciences Po and humanities, and holds a master's degree in history, European studies, and international relations. She has been working for Abac for the past 15 years, primarily as a project and finance officer. Her fields of specialism include the EU cohesion policy and more specifically EU sustainable urban development. She graduated as well in localizing the sustainable development goals, the so-called SDGs, and is currently leading the work on localizing these goals within Abac. But besides her academic record and her long-standing experience in EU programs, Céline has turned out to be our KAIRÓS guardian angel, always ready to provide the right advice in the right time. So on behalf of us, thanks again for all your support, Céline. The word is yours. José María, ¿puedes?
Yeah. Thank you, Anke. Thank you for your kind words. So yeah, I will start my presentation now. First, I wanted to make a short point about the Abac now and the KAIRÓS journey a bit, and then I will focus a bit more in the second part of my presentation on the future Abac 4. So just a summary here of the Abac program, which is also coming to the end, the Abac 3 program. But here, just a picture, because Abac exists for 20 years now. So it's a European territorial cooperation program co-financed by ERDF and members and partner states, bringing EU cities together, and with a main objective to promote integrated, sustainable urban development in Europe. So in a nutshell here for this period, so Abac 3, so you have the figures here. So we had 7 calls for networks. We have approved 83 networks, so one of which is KAIRÓS. And between 450 and 500 single partners, cities were involved. So just a point that was made also in the Heraclian video, like that Abac listens to city needs and is really through a bottom-up and open and bottom-up approach and process. So we are approving also networks from the needs of the cities that are submitted proposals corresponding to their needs. Just a few words about the Abac method. So because we have built this method through the years, so it's mainly based on 3 key concepts. So integration, participation, and action learning. So integration is like diverse meaning, but because there are horizontal integration, so vertical cooperation, integration, so multi-governance. Then participation is also like building on the participation of local stakeholders, and action learning, so learning through the action through these networks. So just to remind maybe a bit also that we have 3 main strands of activities. So the first one is about networks, transnational exchange and learning. The second one, capacity building, so trainings, webinars, tools. And the third one, capitalization and dissemination, so knowledge platform. Just to focus on the capacity building, because you also had the opportunity to experience this, so using the different expertise and tools in the Abac toolbox. And also you are invited to the Abac flagship capacity event, the e-University, which normally is a summer university, physical university, but yeah, due to COVID, it was an e-University in 2020 on action planning. And then also because we learned also, I mean, we heard your needs. We had a specific e-University on getting ready for action, so specifically focusing on funding and resourcing. It was a first for us. So today I want to congratulate all of you for the well done Abac journey, going through all these methods and tools and with our support, and going to these transnational activities and local activities, mainly in your local groups, and toward the drafting of integrated action plans. So here a picture of all the 23 action plannings that were approved at the same time with you. So tackling different challenges and topics. So from digitalizations to gender, to branding, city branding, to ending homelessness, to circular economy. And so on. And a few words on KAIRÓS, so, because it's tackling specific challenges. Here it's heritage as a driver for sustainable urban development and regeneration, and with a 5-pillar model that Miguel has described, so I won't get into details here. But just also, again, to congratulate all the cities of the network here on the map. And you had also the opportunity to experience small-scale actions that were introduced for this new batch of networks. So it was a new also experiment for us also. But the aim was also like for you to be able to pilot actions and make some small experiments. From the experience and what we are hearing from you, it seems it was a useful tool. So here just a word about the local level, because you have set up and led the Abac local group, and you are now finalizing and your integrated action plans, and the aim is also it was said before, like to have really an impact at local level, it's also time for you now to finalize and then implement the integrated action plans, because the action plans are not only like papers and actions on paper, but that needs to be concretized, implemented on the ground. And a few words about the Abac Knowledge Hub, knowledge platform, because without the projects, without the networks, we won't have a knowledge platform, because this is really built on your stories, your networks, your outputs, and we are there as a program to amplify your stories and showcasing your article, your outputs. And we will also, so we are doing that through different thematic projects or capitalization projects, like study, city labs, or different events. And also we are staging your experience at program or external events. And the next one, the program event level, would be the Abac City Festival in Greater Paris in June. That will be the possibility for all action planning networks and KAIRÓS to showcase their results. And then with these networks, we are also feeding policies with the experience from the ground. So, for example, here I listed the urban agenda for the EU, the Sustainable Development Goals, or the cohesion policy. And just to say a word about the fact that you are always part of the Abac community, and so it's not the end, and it's more like a beginning of something else, but also like a beginning, and you are still part of the Abac community. And now on the Abac 4, so what's next for the next programming period, 2021 to 2027. And I know that some of you are a bit interested, because I already had some questions yesterday evening. So I would mention here in the title that it's evolution, not revolution, because more or less we will have the same approach, but I would say a bit more here. Just to mention that we will have a new EU urban context for this period. So because there is a new context that we had not before, so with still the urban agenda for the EU, but we will have also the new European Urban Initiative, and we are backed here also like the third, let's say, pillar of this context, and we need to find some complementarity, synergies, and coordination. So this is still a bit to be found and to be finalized, but we will be in this context where we need to find some complementarities between these initiatives and programs. And so in this context, we will have a new program, Abac 4, and we will have a new program area, so without the UK, unfortunately, but we will have the same, or otherwise the same EU member states, plus Norway and Switzerland as partner states, so as it is now. And then we are also exploring the possibility to work with 5 new instruments for pre-accession countries, so Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Montenegro, Northern Macedonia, and Serbia. So this is new, and we will see how it goes. But we would like to work with these new countries. And Abac 4, we continue to support cities of all sizes, from neighborhood level to functional urban areas. So also again in this new period, no city size. So small or medium-sized cities are very welcome. So the main objectives for this period would be promoting integrated sustainable urban development through cooperation, then enhancing institutional capacity of public authorities and stakeholders to implement territorial strategies, and contributing to policy objective 5, so Europe closer to citizens, by fostering sustainable and integrated development. So we will have, again, 3 main strands of activities, as I presented before. So the networking, corresponding to also transnational exchange and learning, with so 3 main type of activities. So the first one would be, again, the action planning networks, to go design and implement integrated action plans. Then another one would be about transfer networks, so transferring established urban good practices. And another one that we had a pilot in this period, but will be continued in the future period, about the transfer mechanisms of URA, so Urban Innovative Actions projects. Then we will still have also the capacity building strand, so the toolbox but will remain, but will be improved and further have further tools in it, and some events like capacity building events like the universities. And knowledge sharing, so again ensuring that the knowledge and practice coming from the projects are accessible to a wider audience and feeding into the regional, national and European urban policies. So novelty, we will focus, we'll have a cross-cutting aspects. It's already there because we are promoting the integrated approach, but we will have a specific focus on cross-cutting aspects on gender, digital and green. So it's just a summary here to say that like the evolution, not the revolution. So here what will stay, so as I presented, the networking activities will stay, combining capacity building and knowledge sharing. It will remain open to all cities and all sizes of cities. Still we will have the bottom-up thematic approach, and we will keep also the balance between more and less developed regions as we are used to be. We will have still a dedicated expertise and capacity building support, and this urban knowledge platform and sharing, linking from the ground and higher policy levels. And what will evolve? So we are more and more welcoming small and mid-sized cities, so we will again have even more focus on reaching out these cities. Network with and support for setting solutions. So as I mentioned, it was the first for us. We introduced this idea of small-scale actions in this last round of networks, and it seems it was successful, and it was received. We had a positive response and return. So we will keep it and try to improve the methodology and the guidance. And maybe the wording, I don't know if we still will be small-scale actions, but it will be about testing solutions to be integrated then in the action plans. So we will have a specific transfer mechanism for urban innovative actions. So it will be one type of network, really in the operational program. Then, as I said, these cross-cutting aspects, so more focus on green and digital priorities, as well as some governance challenges such as gender. And then one important thing is that we will also, as I presented, be in the new context, so we will have to also be working in partnership with the European Urban Initiative. And one last thing, but not least, have strengthened links through national points with cohesion policy for more impact. So here is the idea, like we introduced also with the Summer University, the university on funding and resourcing, like to really have some connections to funding, reinforcing this in your action plan, so that you have also then the possibility to have funding from your operational programs or other EU programs for funding your actions. So a few words on the next steps here on the program timeline. So we are not yet approved. I mean, the Abac 4 program is not yet approved, but we hopefully will be approved by the end of June. We are still negotiating with the European Commission, but we hope to be approved by the end of June. We will have our first Abac 4 monitoring committee meeting, normally September, so with all the member states who will approve the launch of the first call for proposals, so which is now planned in autumn, so most probably in October 2022, we launched the first call for action planning networks. And you will have the possibility also to learn more about the future program and the details on the first call for networks during the City Festival in June in Pantin, in Greater Paris in France, where you are invited, and I hope I can see you there. And that's at the end of my presentation. So thank you, and keep on driving change for better cities. Thank you.
So with these insightful messages in mind, I think we are all ready now for that cup of coffee was a little something, but we would also like to propose a visit to the exhibition. That the coffee tables will be right next to the exhibition of the IEP from Mula that you've already been seeing. If you have any questions, the architect is available, Chima Lopez, for any questions you may have. But before we rush out, I would like to remind you that after the coffee break, as of 12 o'clock, we will not come back. Well, we're running a little over time, so let's say within half an hour, okay? We will not come back here because the partner review sessions will take place in the study rooms on the second floor of the building. Okay, so our volunteers will be available to guide you there. The 3 rooms will each be marked with a track number and the primary subject to be discussed there. So you can freely choose which session you would like to attend, and the sessions will be conducted by 3 of our partner cities and will of course be open to anybody who would like to join in. They will last about an hour and a half, after which we will get together again here in the plenary for a report on the main conclusions and highlights. So let's go for a coffee now. Thank you all.